Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Jesper Person, and on this channel here we are talking about skincare and all that sort of thing that is helping you to look younger for longer, and maybe a little bit of a difference on this channel compared to a lot of other channels is that here we are actually talking about things that is working and is actually making a difference. We are not just pushing a lot of products here, but today we are going to talk about something very important, and that is a sunscreen. And yes, that is obviously a product, but today we are going to look at the La Roche-Posay ones, and I know that you like to see these colored ones, so these tinted ones. So I've chosen this one here, which is the tinted one, so the Ethylhexyl, and it is an SPF of 50+, and it has this sort of a new filter in it, so the Mexoryl 400. It also has the Mexoryl XL and the Mexoryl SX, so that is the ones that are normally have had for relatively a long time now, and these are made by L'Oreal, and it is in this one here as well, which is for matte skin, or trying to make skin matte, because obviously a lot of times when you're using a sunscreen it can leave your face really sort of rather greasy, so that is one of the downturned things with sunscreen. So we have this one here with Ethylhexyl again, and UVMUNE400, so again it has this Mexoryl 400 filter in it. So this is supposed to be oil control fluid, and this one is a fluid as well, and this is a fluid. And then we have the more standard one, which is also a fluid, and that is this one here. So that is just, I would say, the sort of normal fluid one. So the also SPF 50+, and it of course also has the Mexoryl 400 filter in it. So they are, for that matter, all these ones here, they are the same. Just see how does it look like this. They all have the same filters basically, but there is a little bit of a difference, obviously. I mean, this one here is tinted and this one here is not tinted, but if you look at it, and we're going to try it on my face later. If you look at it, then you have this one here, which I would say is the sort of the standard one, and then you have the colored one, but the difference is basically just that they have added a little bit of titanium dioxide, and they have added iron oxide as well in order to give it a color. So if we just open all of them, so we have this one here, so that is the colored one, in this one here, and then we have the matte one is this one here, and then the normal one, this one here. But the difference between the colored one, as I said, and this one here is basically just that they have added a little bit of some color to this one here. So it is a Shaka fluid, or I don't know, just to say that, it used to say that on it. You need to shake it, and when you have something that is really sort of liquidy like these ones here, it is definitely a must to shake it up before you are using it, because you risk that you will have a lot of inconsistency in the product. And one time, this one here, the normal one, I have used that one before, but that was in the previous formulation, so this is a new formulation, and there I would say it did have a sort of a perfume to it, but this one here does not have a perfume to it. This one has, and this one here has as well, and I would say that if you did not shake it up, it will be really in my opinion, an overpowering perfume, and even if you shook it up, then it will still be a little bit like, yes, you can definitely smell it. So if you have, this is the normal one, and then you have the colored one. So what I will do is that we take the colored one and put it at one side of the face, and then we will try the matte one on the other side. We kind of like, if we can kind of like find a space to try all of them, but I think the most important ones to test is the colored one and then the matte one. So if we start with the colored one, and just, I have this measurement here that is 1 milliliter, but actually I need 1.25 milliliters, but that would be for my neck as well, and usually I just put it on my face and just a little bit down the jawline. So if we now take this one here, and it is rather runny, I would say, so take like that, and you can see what I mean. Is really liquidy, whoopsie, and that is sort of like, just take care it doesn't fall, and it really is like a soup basically. So I will kind of like take half of this stuff, or as best as I can. It might not be very precise or scientific, but kind of like we do the best we can here. So I will take half of this stuff to kind of like, it looks like this. Maybe you can easier see the color here. So it's rather a strong color. I would say I try and take half of the stuff and put it on this side here. So you can see kind of like it is relatively easy to put on, but it's difficult to handle in your hand. And I'll just take the other stuff off, so I only want half of the stuff. So we'll put it on like this. And I don't have anything on my skin today. I have just washed it with a microfiber cloth and water, and that was it. So we put this stuff on here. And I would say that it kind of like, it sort of like blends in relatively nicely. I think it is better. I've tried it a little bit before, but I think actually it is a little bit better than I remember the previous formula that they had. But obviously it goes on pretty easy, and I also think actually, in my opinion, it seems like it's going on better than it used to. So I would say if this was in the summertime, I would actually be able to get away with using this one here, but they only have one color. So if you have a darker skin, yes, it will not fit you, and if you have a very sort of pale skin, it will not fit you either. So, and usually if you are having very pale skin, you might go a bit red in the sun and not easily get a tan as such. So there, this could be a little bit a difficult thing to match, but I would say it does sink in rather easy. And I would say normally when I use a sunscreen, I don't use a cream underneath because it can be way too much. But with something like this, I would say it can actually sink in too quickly, because it is really like, it sinks in really well, I would say. And I don't think that yes, I can see that it's a little bit shiny, but I would say there is a lot of sunscreens, they are a whole lot more shiny. So this is not a huge issue. And when we try the other one, so the one that is the mattifying one, and then we have the normal one, I will say when I tried it, I actually felt that there was not that much of a difference. So that tells you that even that one is using the matte one here, well, there is a lot of silica in it, and there is also something else that they are calling Elysium, and that is supposed to be something with a 1% silica and then 99% air somehow. I think it was something that was invented by the American NASA or something like that, for space travel or something like that. I think they write something about that. So if we shake this one up here, and I think there is just that little bit thing about this, is that usually when there is something like an oxide in it, at least on my skin, there is a little bit of titanium dioxide in it, and there is these iron oxides in it. It does sort of like tinkle a little bit on my skin. I always think that it is these oxides that does this as they are migrating into the skin, I guess. Yes, I would say it actually it doesn't look that bad really. It looks like if I had a bit of a tan. But what I will say is that, and we can try that when I have tried this one here, the normal one. That is, my idea is that if you are afraid to put too much of this sort of a colored thing on, that because what it is that you need to have an even layer from here and all the way out, because you can't just have a little bit where it looks nice and then less where it does not look nice if you put too much on. So my idea basically was, if we're using this one here, and I'll just say that all these ones here, they contain avobenzone as well, so this old sun filter, and it also unfortunately contains ethylhexyl salicylate, and that is salicylate, and we have spoken of that before. And apparently ROCHE-POSAY, they are still using that, apart from in some of their products, but that product is not that easy to get hold of. If you have seen some of my other videos, I've tried several times to get hold of it. I only got it once. But usually when sites are saying that they have it, they will send the wrong formula to you, but it has actually ethylhexyl salicylate in it. So twice I have been sending one back and I still haven't got the right one. But in the meantime, I found something that was even better, and that was from Reimann, the P20, and I've spoken about that before. So now we are testing this stuff here. Shaky, shaky. And then we take another spoon. And it has this sort of color. It is a little bit yellowy, orangey, greenish actually. And that is some of the filters that are in. Voila, like that. So again, we try, and yes, I cleaned my hands sort of. And we kind of like go like that. So I would say, even that I put too much on or something like that, it does actually work rather well for greasiness, I would say. But now if I just put it on this side here, I would just need a quarter of it. So if you just take half of the stuff away, and then I will take half of the other stuff. So again, this is not very scientific, but we just put it on here. And I will say, when I tried it, comparing to the one that is had this a lot more of this silica in it, I really was like, I can hardly feel a difference. But the one that has a lot of silica in it, so the green one, this one here, it is slightly more difficult to put on because it sinks in very, very quickly. So now I just add a little bit more, and that might be a little bit too much and not fair to the product and that sort of thing, but still I think this product here can take it. It does sink in really, really well, I will say. So you have to be a little bit careful when you put it on, that you are making sure that you are actually having it evenly distributed. But it does help if you have a little bit of a cream underneath, and I don't have that today. So like that, and it doesn't have a perfume. So even that the other one had a perfume, I don't find that it was very overwhelming. You just have a sniff at it again. So you have the brown stuff here. No, I don't really think that it is an issue. Definitely, the one before, it had a very sort of an orangey sort of blossom sort of smell. Very overpowering, I would say. So now we have this one here, and as you can see, I don't find that any of these ones here are very shiny. Maybe this one here is a little bit more shiny than this one here, but I think the thing is that because you have the color in it, this shine will show up more strongly, maybe, because basically when you look at the ingredients list, they are very much the same. There are only a few differences, and that is because one of them does not contain the iron oxide, and therefore they have put in some other ingredients that are more like a pH stabilizing, and there is a little bit of things, but mainly they are basically the same, so they should kind of like look the same, but maybe because it's dark it will show up a little bit more, where on this side here it is less. But yes, it's still it is, yes, I mean, it's not super like a non-greasy touch here. It's not like that. It does have a little bit of a greasiness to it, but I would say it's relatively good compared to what else is out there. So if we take this one here, so the one that is supposed to be oil control fluid, so this one here, and again we shake it up. And when I tried it the first time, I just felt that I could really not feel much of a difference from the normal one, which is on this side here, and then to this one here. So again, we will take one of these spoons here. Voila. I take my right hand like that. Kind of like, so we have 1 milliliter here as well. And again, it had to be 1.25 if I was putting it on my neck as well. So now we will be trying, and I have cleaned my hand again. So we will just be trying and be sort of fair to the product again. So just take a quarter of this stuff here and put on. And so we take half of the stuff away, and then we take the other half away. And yes, it is not very scientific, but it's better than nothing, really. So here we have a go. Voila, like that. Up there. So basically my idea was that if you were not happy with having this color all over, I would use it as a sort of like a highlighter, where I would normally get a bit more of a tan, and then I would use the normal one all over my face first with the correct amount, and then just use, as I said, the colored one just where you wanted to have a little bit of so it looks like you've had a bit of sun. That way I would say you can use it in a much better way, because usually having this stuff all over when there is a color in it, it just doesn't look natural. So now I got it in my eyebrows as well, so put a bit on the eyelid as well, and I can already feel that yes, this kind of like, it feels like it's sinking in a lot quicker, but also because of the silica in the product, it sort of like dries up on the skin very quickly. So yes, I would say it is a little bit more difficult to work with compared to the one that is the normal one, so this one here, or the one we have here actually. But all in all, I would say after a little while I felt that it ended up like feeling the same. So maybe it feels a little bit thicker, the one that has this silica stuff in it, but all in all I would say I'm not overwhelmingly impressed with the stuff, and particularly when it has a Ethylhexyl Salicylate in it. If I were to use something like that, now I have an alternative that does not have it, then I would say it has to be really, really, really super duper good, and I don't find it to be like that. It's decent. Oh yeah, it's totally, it's decent, and it has some good filters in the sense that it will protect you from the sun, but there might be some other issues with it, and that is because we have this salicylate in it, so we don't really like that. And I would say, now looking at this stuff here, then the upper part, I mean, this down here has been sinking in for a little longer while, but I mean, not like days. So there should be rather a difference in this sort of a shine, but it's kind of like it's difficult to see. But I would say when I look in the mirror, still this up here is sort of like a shiny. And this one down here, I could just move my head a little bit around, because it can be kind of like how the light is falling on my skin. It would be different down here compared to up there. But if I kind of like move my head around, I would say I can't really see a lot of a huge difference on this stuff here. And it does feel a tad like I have some sort of a thick stuff on my face that has sort of like dried up on the face instead of kind of like sinking into my face. But maybe if you have a really sort of dry, non-oil producing skin, or it's skin that does not produce that much oil, then it might be sinking in well. But then there is just that little issue, and that is of course that this is for oil control, so you would not use it if you had a very dry skin, or at least I wouldn't think so. So I would say, yes, this looks like I've had a little bit too much sun, and kind of like it dries up a little bit more, but still it has a sort of like a stickiness to it. And I say it is a little bit, I prefer actually something that is a little bit more less liquidy, because that will sink in less quickly. And that means that it is easier to maneuver around with on your face. So in this sense here, I think that, I mean, I'm not rushing out buying more of this stuff here. I think this will be something I will throw in the bin, really. Because, yes, I have found something I find to be working a lot better. And that is the Riemann P20, the SPF 30, the one that is the sensitive skin, and I've made another video about that, and you can see that up here. So yes, I will not be buying a whole lot of this gunk here. I think that I mean, okay, yeah, Mexoryl 400, it might be really good, but I still think that there is something with the formula. But if we can just have a little look at the colored one again. Because now down here, or for that matter up here as well, I don't have any sort of color. So what I would be doing, and that is because I would not mix sunscreens as such, but these ones here, they all have the same filters in them. So for that matter, it would be sort of like the same. And I would just take this one here, apart from actually the colored one has a titanium dioxide in it, and that is something that potentially can go in and break down sun filters, and that is not really great. But apart from that, I would just put a little bit of some colored stuff on here, where sort of like it would be natural for me to get a bit of some of a suntan. So up there, and then we just a little bit here and there, and you can just use it in order to maybe just give a little bit of a color, so you don't have that huge amount of color over here. And yeah, but still when I put this stuff on here, and normally I say that usually it's a bit warm here, but actually today it's not warm, and I'm not particularly sweaty, so it should actually sink in rather a lot more well. And I just don't think that it works that well. It kind of like, it feels like I have some sort of thick gunk on my face, really. I'm actually a little bit disappointed by this. So anyway, I'm not gonna buy more of this gunk here, or what is this called? I think it's American slang for something that sticky or whatever. I think that these ones here are something I would pass when I see it next time in the shop. So yes, this was a little review for you, so you could see that I'm not particularly happy with any of this stuff here. So yes, if you'd like to see more of this sort of videos, please subscribe, hit the bell, and do all those things you must do in order to be notified when I upload more of this sort of videos. Thank you for watching. See you. Bye.